So, emissions regulations when it comes to vehicles, it varies from state to state within the United States, and currently there is a big case going on over in California for some regulations that were brought in under the Joe Biden administration. So, let's have a look at what the controversies are around this and what could potentially happen with this, guys. I've got a full article here on our website, themotoringchronicle.com, that our wonderful Jared Partridge has written, and I'll just go through everything with this just to basically give you guys an overview of what is happening and what could well happen and the potential ramifications for whatever happens as well with this. So let's dive in, guys, as always. The US Senate is set to vote on Thursday on revoking 3 vehicle emissions waivers granted to California, a move that has sparked controversy and raised questions about the legality of the action. The waivers, which were approved by the Biden administration's EPA in 2024, allow California to set stricter vehicle emission standards than federal regulations. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has dubbed the planned vote the nuclear option, highlighting the contentious nature of the decision. The waivers in question aim to reduce tailpipe emissions from medium and heavy-duty vehicles, limit smog pollution from trucks, and phase out gas-powered cars in favor of zero-emissions vehicles by 2035 in California. While Republicans argue that the Congressional Review Act grants Congress the power to overturn rules passed by federal agencies, including the waivers, by a simple majority vote, nonpartisan government watchdogs disagree. The Government Accountability Office and the Senate parliamentarian have found that congressional review acts cannot be used to vote down California's waivers, as they are not considered the rules, according to the Senate Democrats. Despite this, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, or Toon, not sure how you pronounce their name, who supports revoking the waivers, stated the EPA has submitted the waivers to Congress as rules, which is all that Congress has ever needed to do to decide to consider something under the Congressional Review Act. Democrats, however, maintain that such a vote is illegal and warn that overruling the parliamentarian by bypassing the filibuster sets a dangerous precedent. Senate Finance Committee ranking member Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, cautioned if they invoke the nuclear option now, they should expect that a future Democratic government will have to revisit decades worth of paltry corporate settlements, deferred prosecution agreements, and tax ruling that were overly favorable to multinational and ultra-wealthy individuals. The California Air Resources Board, the state body responsible for designing the vehicle's emissions regulations and requesting the waivers, claims that the state has applied for over 100 waivers in the past 50 years, resulting in vehicles being 99% cleaner in terms of pollution compared to those from 1970. Mary Nichols, the former chairwoman of the board, emphasized that the Clean Air Act allows California to set its own standards if they are more stringent and environmentally protective than federal standards. Nichols also stated that if Congress uses the Congressional Review Act to revoke the waivers, the state of California will sue the federal government. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has also expressed his office's readiness for a legal battle, telling Politico, "We don't think that it's an appropriate use of Congressional Review Act, and we are prepared to defend ourselves if it is wrongfully weaponized. The decision to vote down California's waivers is expected to have far-reaching consequences, as 16 additional states and the District of Columbia have appointed California's vehicle standards. Republicans have been more critical of California's emissions rules, particularly the one aimed at promoting electric vehicles, with Senator Shelley Moore Capito, a West Virginian Republican, claiming that the rules amount to forcing certain states and certain consumers to purchase vehicles that they may not want or that they cannot find. The auto industry has been pushing for Republicans to revoke California's waivers, with the Specialty Equipment Market Association, which represents business dependent on internal combustion engines, stating the death of California's waiver will give life to more than 330,000 American jobs and preserve over $100 billion of economic impact to the nation's economy. Environmental groups, however, are alarmed by the unprecedented use by the Congressional Review Act to revoke the waivers. The Environmental Defense Fund warned that a vote by Congress would undermine California's ability to address pollution and could set a precedent for sweeping congressional nullifications of other executive actions that are outside the scope of the CRA. As the Senate prepares to vote on this contentious issue, the nation awaits the outcome and the potential legal challenges that may follow. That is far better than I could sum it up in that amount of time, guys. So that's why I had to lean on that article on our website there. There is so much going on with this. It is very complicated. And there's a lot of grey areas, really, when it comes to this. One side believes one thing, one side believes the other. It's very typical of American politics, or politics in general, really, to be honest with you. You've got two sides that are battling it out for different things and both believe they are right. So I'm not really going to go too much in depth on it, but I will bring you any kind of news on this when it does come. Just to add a little thing as well to it, just from my own personal experience here in the UK, because we have a similar regulation. There's the ZEV mandate is called, the Zero Emissions Vehicle Mandate, for the entire country, where it basically says that all car manufacturers have to produce a certain percentage of vehicles that are EVs, that are zero emission vehicles, each year, and eventually they are going to be phased out entirely. Sorry, gas-powered cars, petrol-powered cars here in the UK are going to be phased out entirely. I believe the date has been pushed back a few times now. I think they were trying for 2030, it's going to be 2035. It wouldn't surprise me if they push it back to 2040. There's a lot of problems when it comes to that, and I think that's very much a negative regulation here in my country. I don't really want to say whether this is right or wrong for California. I'll let you guys talk about it in the comments below. It basically amounts to what is the correct thing in terms of who defines these laws. Does California deserve to define its own law when it comes to these electric vehicles, these zero-emission vehicles, or should the state, the United States, the central government, step in and say, no, you shouldn't do that? That's an American politics question. I'll let you guys debate that in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this on the world of cars and the world of good old regulations as well. Love some of this. But yeah, have a great day wherever you are in the world today, guys, and we'll see you very soon here on the channel for more content just like this.